Good afternoon. This is Dr. Henderson. Today we are launching a thought exchange survey to gather family and staff input on our social emotional learning. I'd like to provide some information on that work and how the survey will operate. Our work with social emotional learning is driven by the state standards for Illinois, which are reflected on this slide. Addressing the social emotional learning needs of our students is also part of our district's strategic plan. Finally, insights and observations from parents and staff have reflected a need to support our students in this area. Our district's mission statement reflects the priority we place on preparing our students for not just their educational endeavors, but also post-education success. Research on the skills employers prioritize include things such as the ability to work on a team, think creatively, solve problems, and resolve conflicts. Our district launched an SEL task force last year that is composed of parents, staff, and administrators. This group has established priorities, and one of its first tasks was to come to consensus on how we will define social emotional learning in District 12. We have adopted the definition used by CASEL, a nationally recognized leader in social emotional learning. You can see in this definition that we are emphasizing recognizing and managing one's emotions, creating and maintaining healthy relationships, and making responsible decisions. At times, social emotional learning has been attached to other potentially divisive topics, and our task force wants to clarify specifically what we are referring to with social emotional learning. As shared in the definition, we view social emotional learning as understanding the emotions of others as well as our own, recognizing that social emotional learning is for all members of the organization and not just our students, and includes aspects of executive functioning, such as time management, organization, and goal setting. It's important to note that social emotional learning is not about establishing values. That is the role of the family and home, and while we promote the qualities that allow us to function successfully in a community, it is not a judgment on any family's values. Integrating social emotional learning into our existing curriculum does not detract from academics. It enhances the academics, will be woven in, and will create a learning environment that allows all students to thrive. Finally, there are two specific topics that are often in the news and have, at times, been linked to social emotional learning. The first is critical race theory. We do not approach education through this lens in District 12. We do not view our students as victims or oppressors, and we do not treat them as such. Also, social emotional learning is not related in any way to the national sex education standards that have been in the news. We understand that because our social workers currently teach both social emotional learning lessons as well as covering more sensitive topics such as Aaron's Law, that this can be confusing. As you move into the survey, it will ask you to identify what you think should be a priority for social emotional learning in District 12. You are welcome to share more than one thought or idea. However, it is helpful if you include each thought as its own individual response. In addition to submitting your own thoughts, you will have the opportunity to see other responses submitted and add stars to comments with which you agree. These, of course, are anonymous and in no way have identifiable information attached. By adding stars to comments with which you agree, you will allow the collective priorities of the group to emerge. The results will be shared with all families later in the month, as well as with the task force, so that it ensures our work reflects the priority of our community. The survey will be open through Friday, November 11th. Thank you in advance for participating and sharing your thoughts on this important topic.